5 things your man should know about your ex. Hi there, I will be back right after this introduction to talk about this topic and a few more things that we've got going on in the Black Swan Relationship Academy. Don't go away, I'll be right back. Well, hi and welcome to Friday. Welcome to another amazing day here on the Black Swan Relationship Academy universe, the Black Swan universe, where everything happens, right? Everything happens. So anyway, my name is Unique Sibanda and I am the head coach as well as your style concierge here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. Before I go anywhere, do like, comment, share, subscribe. Have a look at the links in the comment section because we've got some amazing things that are going on at the minute. The one thing that comes to mind is the secrets of a man's mind. This topic is quite relevant to what we'll be talking about. So it's kind of like a preamble to what we'll be discussing on the 21st of May at 7 p.m. BST. Be sure to upgrade to the premium package so that you'll be able to ask your questions with some of the men who'll be coming on our panel. It's going to be so exciting. They'll only come on at the end after the main show, but you can always ask your questions by emailing us. So just email me, and here's my email address right here. It will also be in the description box. So let's just go right ahead and let's dive into today's topic, which is 5 things your man should know about your ex. Look, we're all grown here, right? So we would have had exes, we would have had past lives, as it were. We would have been intimate sometimes with other partners or not. We would have had previous relationships. Even if you don't have previous relationships, you would have got into some situationships, on some entanglements. So there's certain things that once you're now exclusive and you're really going into a partnership with someone, there are certain things that we have to be open about. There are certain things that we have to really talk about. On Monday, just a few days ago, we did a live video with Mama Swan and Coach Yvonne. That was really about revealing secrets. And this is kind of like an addition to that video. So I'll link it right here. And you can go and watch that video when we're done. I'll put it in the comments as well, in the description box as well. So you can actually watch the live and some of the things that we're talking about, because really this is a situation where a young lady kind of came across a situation where it turns out the ex kind of got in touch and the current boyfriend found out who the ex was, and it was a whole of a bit of a palaver. And she called and she was quite desperate for some help, and we kind of discussed it during the session. So just to kind of point you in the right direction as well. So here are 5 things that I really believe your man, your current relationship, or your boo, or your bae, or maybe your husband, or whoever you want to have a serious relationship, these are the kind of things that they want to know. I've only listed 5, but I'm sure there's so much more. If you have any more ideas, just pop them in the comment box and comment section. Let's have a discussion, because really we are all about transparency and making sure that the relationships that we get into are authentic and they feed our souls and allow us to be the woman we fully are, as well as provide a safe space for us to be open about our totality, right? Without judgment. So the first thing I would say is about why you broke up. A lot of people don't like to talk about this, and you could always ask questions in a certain way that don't make someone feel judged. We also have the 50 questions which you can download that will kind of help guide you as to how to ask this question. On your part as a Black Swan, you always want to state the fact what you learned from the relationship, how you broke up, and not in a way that makes your ex look bad. It's really, so I'll give you an example. So my ex and I broke up. Our marriage was kind of falling apart, and we just were not seeing eye to eye. There's a lot of growing that we needed to do. So that's the reason that I would give, like, the reason that we broke up is really, there was a lack of communication. We were not seeing eye to eye about certain things, and the communication lines had kind of been disrupted, and we were not able to have conversations so that we could build each other up again and be able to continue the relationship. So the best way forward was for us to break up and have the divorce. So there's quite a lot of things and quite a lot of situations where you need to provide a safe space to be able to talk about these things. You need to be open as well. And sometimes we might not have learned anything from those encounters. We might really still be learning about ourselves and learning about what we would not do again in with our exes. These things also inform our standards. Because if you broke up with someone who cheated on you, it would inform your new partner that that's something that you're not able to handle. That's not something that you want to be part of. And and again, it also raises a conversation point where you reinforce the fact that you want to be in a monogamous relationship, if that is what you want, and you want someone who wants to be loyal to you and choose you pretty much every single day. The other part of why you broke up could also be the kind of disagreements that you used to have. What were your incompatibilities that made you decide, you know what, let's break up because we cannot resolve these things? Say you were an avid gym addict or sports player, and he really was not into that kind of stuff, or he really just was never flexible to want to do things with you. So that caused you to be incompatible, and maybe your beliefs changed or his beliefs changed. So there's a lot of things that when we discover in the whole process of becoming exclusive and getting to know someone, we start to get information about what we may like and what we may not like. And when you know your core needs, your non-negotiables, when you're in discussion with people, you start to find out what things would just make you incompatible, which is part of your non-negotiables. So moving on to number 2 would be how long you were together. So this one, I kind of threw it in there because there's a lot to be said when you say someone was your boyfriend for 6 months, because there's that whole thing. Yes, you can be, no judgment here. You can have a boyfriend for 6 months. You can have a boyfriend for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But we have to be honest about the length of time that we were with someone. Remember, this is really when you're in the relationship and you are now exclusive and really looking to build something long term, when you've kind of had the discussions that you either wanting to move into marriage, you want to move in together, you want to move into doing certain things. There's a way of discussing things without making it seem like your ex was your everything and you'd never live without him. And you disclosing how long you were together also informs your partner about your relationship patterns, really. So it might not just have been maybe a marriage, it could have just been an ex that you dated for a while. And I always say the other things as well that we need to clarify is what you mean by dating, and what you mean by when you're in a relationship, and what you mean by when you're being exclusive. Because I remember I had to with my partner, I had to kind of really break down that whole process of when I have been dating, but it does not mean that I was in an exclusive relationship with that person, because while I was dating, I was just collecting information to see if I'd be able to be in a relationship with this person. And when I'm in exclusive is when I'd now decided, okay, I'm just going to focus on this one person for a specified length of time. And whether I was engaged and all of those things, we have to disclose them just for the sake of transparency. because this world is small, and at some point because your ex was part of your energetic field at the time, there are reasons why they'll keep orbiting and certain things will keep coming up, and you will remember certain things about him that you should be free to discuss within the relationship. So one of the reasons that we're really going to get into about why you should discuss the length of your relationship is really to do with the secrets of the man's mind and how a man processes your previous relationships, whether he may have known your ex or may not have known your ex. These are some of the things that we'll be discussing in the secrets of a man's mind. So I'm going to leave this right here. Have a look, have a listen, and hopefully you should be able to book your space before they run out, because spaces are limited. And again, I would encourage you to book a premium spot, because there'll be some gentlemen answering your questions. There'll be some gentlemen there for you to hear it from the horse's mouth. And some of these gentlemen, we have actually been having this research and the conversations that formed the basis of this course. So some of these are really direct from the horse's mouth, and they'll be unfiltered and they'll tell you just like it is. So I'll be back in a few minutes and I'll leave this right here.
There are two types of women. One that positions herself to be a winner using a man's very own nature. We call that woman a black swan, or a woman who is convinced that she can scream, shout, and complain and change a man's nature. Now, if you are a black swan, I have decided to help you out. Ladies, I am offering you a another free masterclass on the secrets of a man's mind. In this course, we're going to look at the things that men will never tell you, are afraid to tell you, don't even know they need to tell you, assume you should know. We're going to look at the man's brain, how he is wired, his heart, his spirit. How does he really think? What is going on in his mind when he meets you, marries you, dates you, courts you? We're going to look through every aspect, and you will be able to understand the secrets of a man's mind. And being a black swan, you will be able to use those secrets to create the love life you crave and deserve. If that sounds good to you, all you have to do is follow any of the links or wherever you see this video, and I will see you on the other side.
I hope that was a little bit more informative, and you are going to join us. Chengi and I are going to see you, right? The team is going to see you. Magdalena will be there. Coach Edwina will be there. Coach Yvonne will be there. Coach Nadine will be there. We will all be there. And Coach Kiara will also be there. So we are looking forward to you joining us in this amazing, amazing free masterclass. But should you decide to upgrade, there are some beautiful things that are going to be happening, honey. Let's get back into what we're talking about. So number 3, where it said it was number 2, where it said how long the relationship was. So number 3 is what his relationship with your family was like. Did you get to a point where you met your family, where you met your siblings, where you met your children, if there were any children to be met? What was the relationship like? Because what you don't want is, say you come to a point when you're introducing your new boyfriend to your family, some things may come up. And that's another thing that you have to discuss. It's like when you're deciding to build life with someone, your lives are going to intertangle and intertwingle, and it's you need to know that your lives are compatible and you're able to gel them together. So him knowing what your ex's relationship was like with your parents would help, and it will also highlight some of the things just to kind of warn him about what needs, what your parents are like around your partners, what your father is like, what your mom is like, what your siblings are like. And those are the kind of things that we need to really discuss, right? With our current partner or someone you're thinking of going into a relationship with. Number 4 is how the relationship started or where you met. So things like this are more really about just to kind of warn him, just in case you were in the same neighborhood, in the same spaces, so that he knows basically your history. I'm not saying that we don't, the thing is, we are human beings and we all have histories, right? So we all have a track record. We all have spaces and places where we've been. And it's also part of you being transparent and showing him parts of you from your past. So say maybe your ex was your childhood sweetheart. It's okay to tell them, like, we met in high school. This is the high school that we went to, and this is where we met, when we met. It might seem like a minute detail, but things like that are important to a man. And again, like I said, these are the things that we'll be discussing in the secrets of a man's mind. And you need to be on that class. I know blatantly, I am telling you, you need to go yourself, get yourself registered and be on that class. Okay, girl? And the last one. Now this one, take it or leave it. It's one of those things that will need to be discussed. Your sexual history. If you were intimate with your ex or not, whether that's your body count, whether however you want to put it that way. So, but here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy, we always say don't mention numbers. It's not about numbers. It's about the levels of intimacy. So in some cases where I recently went for a massage, and one of the ladies, unfortunately I had a miscarriage when I was married before I had my daughter. There's one of those things that apparently this masseuse brought up and asked me if I had a miscarriage because something in my body signified that I'd done that. And I kind of mentioned it to my partner at the time. I was like, oh my God, I'm surprised that like she managed to see that. And she asked me, oh, if I ever had a miscarriage. And I was like, okay, wow, that's so shocking to me. And that's how that conversation came up. And he did ask me like, oh, so you had a miscarriage? Like, wow, that's interesting. Because those are some of the traumas that I've been through that he may never experience them. Okay, yeah, he would never experience them because he's not a woman, right? So he's a man. So it's things like that where it opens up a portal in which you can talk about traumatic events. Because he could ask you how that felt and how you dealt with it, how your partner supported you, and that as well could have been one of the reasons why you broke up, right? So it's one of those things where when you're really being open and transparent with someone, and again, it really depends on how safe you feel in sharing that kind of information. So your sexual past is not really just about your positions that you had, your favorite this and da-da-da. It's really more about one, your STI history, because that we need to be very transparent about. We also need to be transparent about any terminal diseases that we may have had due to our sexual activity, even if the terminal illness is not from being sexually active. Health concerns, we have to be transparent about those. Even when you get married, at some point you kind of need to know your husband's history, your husband's heart history, because those are some of the things that will be passed on to your children. So there's certain things that you kind of need to know, and like what kind of genes are you mixing with, you know? And it is a touchy subject, I know, but this is only really when you feel safe. It's not a must. It's not something that you have to do. It's just really part of you being transparent and opening up to this person that you're building a life with. Most of these things are normally covered in marriage counseling. And I know Chengi, when she does the marriage counseling courses, are kind of the things that they will be touching on as well. So it's just definitely something to consider. So if you would like to add a few more to this topic, if you have any questions at all, put them in the comments box, and don't forget to book your seat on the Secrets of a Man's Mind on the 21st of May. It's a Saturday, 7 p.m. BST. I believe that will be 2 p.m. EST. It's like 5 hours difference. So definitely book a seat, and we will see you on that live. If anything, just go ahead and also follow us on Swan City, which is our current free Facebook group where we'll discuss most of these things and have lives in there with the coaches. It is all happening. It is all popping. It is all happening in there. I really hope, what I've discussed today will resonate with you. I'm sure it will. It will resonate with you. And if you have any comments, please leave them in the comments box. Be kind. Remember that we create this content from you and from our hearts. It is not something that we are creating this to be successful, because our measure of success is in the lives of the women that we touch. So if you're going to come at us in the comments section, that's okay. We will reply you appropriately. And I do love how the comments are really kind of coming through, and thank you all for your support as well as you continue to support us, and our channel is growing and we are loving that. So do like, share, comment and subscribe to this here Black Swan Relationship Academy on YouTube, and I will be seeing you in another video. You take care of you, and remember, you are so loved and we do this for you. See ya.
Well done for coming to the end of this video. What I want to ask you is, what have you learned? What is your takeaway? And what are you going to start practicing right away? Those 3 things are how you are going to get the best out of every class here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. Please put it in the comments so that we can all have a look. So I can have a look, the coaches can have a look, and I promise you, we read every comment. We may not be able to reply to every comment, but we read all your comments and we want to see how you are growing. And we will see you on the next video.